like literally every single day, I get at least one version of the question, why isn't the industry regulated, Ben? Well, Phorm just received a warning letter for drug and disease claims and adulterated supplements. So today, let's look into how the FDA does regulate supplements, in this case, Phorm's warning letter. So Phorm, obviously an extremely popular company owned by the MF CEO, Andy Frisella, very popular for screaming on podcasts about how you need to get up and work. No disrespect to the man. Andy does an incredible job with his content. He's built an incredible empire. They do everything right except for their claims and their ingredients in a few of their products, apparently. The FDA on July 29th sent out a warning letter to Mr. Frisella, explaining to him a few things that they found. Let's see. It says, this letter notifies you of our concerns and provides you an opportunity to address them. So they're concerned about a couple things first listed on their site in terms of claims for one set of products we'll talk about, and also a ingredient in a few products they use that is actually on the FDA's advisory list and not an actual dietary supplement. If you're searching for this, if you came up on this on a search, this is Priceplow. My name is Ben Kane. I'm the VP of Marketing for Priceplow. We talk about news, reviews, interviews. We make content on the supplement industry. We talk about all sorts of stuff going on, and quite often I talk about how the industry is regulated. Anyway, if you're coming here, we talk about all sorts of different ingredient science regulations, anything having to do with sports supplements and a little bit beyond that. So today we're going to talk about the warning letter sent from the FDA to Phorm, Mr. Frisella, and what it contains. So there are two main issues I mentioned with this. Now, I want to be upfront and, really straightforward at the beginning of this. A warning letter is not an indictment. They're not going to jail. They're not being sued or anything like that. This is a warning letter. Like I said, it provides them an opportunity to address it. Failure to adequately address this matter may result in legal action, including and without limitation, seizure, and injunction. But they have about 15 working days after they receive this letter, notify the FDA of specific steps they have taken to address the violation. So it includes an explanation of each step being taken to prevent the recurrence of violations, as well as copies of related documentation. If they can't complete these corrective actions within 15 working days, state the reason for the delay, the time within you will do so. And if you believe that your products are not in violation of the act, you can actually include your reasoning and any supporting information that for their consideration. And that has been done before. So this is not, I'm not saying they're going to jail. I'm not saying they're in any sort of imminent crazy trouble, but this is an example of the FDA enforcing regulations on the industry. So not to say that we're excited about Phorm getting in any sort of trouble, but it is nice to see the FDA doing something in terms of enforcing their actual regulations. So our biggest criticism has been that all these regulations exist. Anytime we're asked if they exist, they do exist, but they're quite often not enforced. We see all sorts of companies using ingredients from the advisory list that like this. It will be horny in this case, but we see anything from DMA to DMHA, N-methyltyramine all the time, isopropanol, norepinephrine, Nupep, stuff that should not be in dietary supplements, used all the time. And on the other issue here as well, drug claims. So let's jump in and let's talk about what products were in question here and what was done about them. For the first one is the unapproved new drug / misbranded drugs. This sounds like they're putting drugs into the product. It may sound a little bit confusing to new consumers or people who have not read the regulations before. Basically, what they're saying here is that some of their products are using claims that really can only be attributed to drugs. So in this case, they're talking about Phorm's whole heart cardiovascular health formula and their full omega-3 fish oil. Full mega omega-3 fish oil. Sorry. Claims on their website establish that the products are drugs under Section 201G1B of Act 21 USC 321 G1B because they are intended for the cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of a disease. So when I mentioned drug disease claims, they're making claims on these products that can only be used for drugs. You can sell fish oil, and we all know that it can make positive effects on your cholesterol, but you can't make these claims like you are using like a statin drug. So you have to be really careful when you're making these kinds of claims. So a couple examples here. On your webpage, for whole heart cardiovascular health formula, the following statements were found. Whole heart is a pharmaceutical grade blend of ingredients designed to combat cardiovascular disease and heart attacks. It's pretty obvious there. The natural substances in whole heart are also key components in helping treat arthritis and other common issues like acne and skin diseases. It literally said treats diseases. Narrowing of the arteries increases resistance and can lead to high blood pressure. The silent killer. To remedy this, the ingredients of whole heart were carefully chosen because of their ability to lower inflammation and prevent the breakdown of nitric oxide, which can result in decreased blood pressure levels. These may all sound like not that big of a deal, and this isn't really the one that I'm really kind of harping on quite often, but it is important to note that as a firm, they will call Phorm here, you are responsible for making sure these things are not happening. You are responsible for the copy that you write. You are responsible for the claims that you make, and these things have to be in order. There are absolutely legal ways to convey this information, promoting healthy blood pressure instead of decreasing blood pressure levels. By the way, this is not legal advice. Do not take any of this to be legal advice. If you have questions about claims, email us. We'll talk to you about it, or we can refer you to someone who is even more qualified than we are. The things that they're saying here are over the line between drug disease claim and actual legal claims for dietary supplements. There is a way to convey this information that is legal and responsible. This is not the way. On your product page for full mega omega-3 fish oil, the following statements were made. Studies on fish oils rich in both EPA and DHA have shown they help with lowering blood pressure, reducing triglyceride levels, and lowering bad cholesterol levels like LDL. The results of clinical studies have shown they can be used to treat symptoms of ADHD as well as combat symptoms of depression. That's a big one. It's a really big one, and a few other in there. I'm just picking out kind of the bigger ones to kind of show what I'm talking about here. These may seem like small issues, and they kind of are. It's not a huge deal. The next one is really what I normally talk about very often, but it's important to note. If you are, like, I'm speaking to business owners here especially. If you are starting a supplement company, you're Joe Schmo, you've invested $10,000 into your first run of something, and you're making these claims, you can very easily get in a lot of trouble, lose your entire investment, and start over with nothing because you made these claims. Am I saying that people are being hurt by this? Probably not. Fish oil is helpful and it does do these things, but the claims are, it's more of a legal standpoint. So in this side, I'm really speaking to business owners or maybe future owner operators. Be careful with the claims that you're making because you can get in a lot of trouble. They do a really good job here, and this is important for warning letters. I'm not saying that they're trying to help any of us as consumers or anything, but they do a really great job, and I'm not going to read this out because I would recommend if you're interested in learning more about this, go over to the site and read all about why this is called a misbranded drug. It explains after those sections why these claims and these products are being shown to be intended for a treatment of one or more diseases that are not amenable to self-diagnose or treatment without the supervision of a licensed practitioner. So it's impossible to write these adequate directions for a layperson to use your product safely for their intended purposes. I'm really speaking more to the business owners here. Make sure that your claims are legal. This is your responsibility. But moving into the adulterated dietary supplement section, this is an important one. Honestly, I really do feel pretty strongly about this. Their Megawatt V2, their Thyro Drive, their 1DB Overdrive Fast Pack, guys, these names are crazy. 1DB Goddess, 1DB Overdrive, and Thyro Drive products are adulterated within the meaning of Section 413A of the Act 21. The supplement facts panels for each of these products declares hordenine as a dietary ingredient. Now, hordenine has been on the advisory list for some time now. The advisory list is a list from the FDA published saying, let's pull this up specifically. They have a good quote. The FDA Dietary Supplement Ingredient Advisory List is intended to quickly alert the public when the FDA identifies ingredients that do not appear to be lawfully included in products marketed as dietary supplements. Now, that's important because for years people complained, we don't know what the FDA is doing. We don't know what they're telling us not to use. We don't know until we get these warning letters. The FDA said, fine, we'll give you an advisory list. On this list is published things that you should not be putting in products because they are not dietary ingredients. Now, obviously, if you get a warning for these, you can respond with your information, with your case on why these are dietary ingredients. However, in all of these cases, these ingredients do need NDIs to become dietary ingredients, and they have not been submitted, or the FDA has reason to believe that they are A, not been present in the food supply as an article used for food in any form which the food has not been chemically altered, or B, there is no history of use or evidence of safety establishing that the dietary ingredient, when used under the conditions recommended or suggested in the labeling of the dietary supplement, will be reasonably expected to be safe and at least 75 days before it being introduced or delivered for introduction into interstate commerce. The manufacturer or distributor of the dietary ingredient or dietary supplement provides the FDA with information, including any citation to published published articles, which is the basis on which the manufacturer distributor has concluded the dietary supplement containing the dietary ingredient will be reasonably expected to be safe. Those are the two ways that you can create a dietary ingredient. They can become Dietary and be used as dietary ingredients. And hordenine has not had either of these. And for that reason, it's on the advisory list. This is public information. You can literally Google FDA advisory list. You don't even have to put supplements. The FDA advisory list, you Google it, it'll give you a list of stuff you shouldn't put in supplements. One of those things is DMAA. It's literally number 1. Don't put it in your supplements. I think like number 7 or whatever is hordenine. It's been known for a while. And look, there's no hate for people using hordenine. When I was at NutriBrow, Pre-Extreme had both N-methyltyramine and hordenine. My first, I think, 2 years there. But when the FDA decided to publish this advisory list, responsibly, Mark Laser decided to pull them from the products. They go on to say, to the best of FDA's knowledge, there's no information demonstrating that hordenine is lawfully marketed as a dietary ingredient in the United States before October 15th, 1994. That is the date that things were grandfathered into Dietary as a dietary supplement. So it's not really worth me reading off the rest of you. If you want to learn more about this, you can go over to the site. But the point being here is that constantly we were asked, Ben, why isn't the FDA regulating this stuff? Why aren't these supplements regulated? It's the wild, wild west. And it's just not true. While the ODSP may not have enough manpower to absolutely crack down on everyone breaking the law, these regulations do exist, and the enforcement is handed out quite often. So my point of doing this video is to raise awareness that there is regulation in the industry, and as well to say, if you're doing this stuff, hire a lawyer. A, to get your claims in better order, or to prepare yourself for the impending warning letter that may someday come. Because if it isn't a warning letter, it'll be a lawsuit from a lawyer in California that thinks they can get money out of you for these claims. So we look forward to seeing if Andy, sends a written response, how they're changing the products, or why they think that they are illegal. I'd be excited to see him fight. Andy is not someone to go down without a fight. He has stood up, a lot during the quarantine last year for the rights of Americans as free citizens, and I support him on all of that. But I think in this case that evidence is against these products, these claims, and it's probably best if they remove them and move on. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it was informative. I appreciate you watching the video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I love talking about this stuff. And if you think that I was wrong on anything, let me know that too. I love discussing this stuff. I'm not an expert. I am not, the person to learn everything from. I just share the information that I have learned over the course of my career, and I stand up for what I think is right. In this case, in general, honestly, I am usually for less regulation by the government, smaller government, and more freedom to the people. But in this case, we actually voted Dietary into existence. Like, this is because of the American people. So we voted this in. We now have to stand by this. In a lot of other cases in this industry, I will say that a lot of these laws were not voted on, and these bureaucrats, we didn't actually vote into office. But in this case, Dietary is our own creation, and we need to stand by it. So for that reason, just follow the law, guys. If you're going to make products, use legal claims, use legal ingredients. It's going to work out better for you. You're going to get into your GNC, your Vitamin Shop, your bodybuilding.com a lot easier, and a lot more brick and mortars are becoming more knowledgeable on what's legal, what's responsible, what's reasonable, and it's just going to be a lot better if we all stick to this stuff. So I appreciate you watching the video, and as always, guys, have a great day.
Welcome to Priceplow.